things. It's just a matter of, and you have to applaud his longevity. It's just a matter of, man, he just keeps making sidesteps. And I'll tell you this, I know it's going to be an unpopular opinion. However, you have to admit that there is some correlation between who you marry and some of the things that happen to you in life. I'm just saying.
The Kardashian jinx is at it again?
I'm just saying, man. Some
Has
things.
anyone seen Chris Humphries, ladies and gentlemen? Is he out there somewhere? Tristan Thompson has made an appearance in the playoffs.
Yeah, but he's been disappearing too. But what we got on track for you guys today on Unafraid Show. First of all, call in.
Yes.
323-230-4445. Listen to us here on Dash Radio. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. And tell people about the Unafraid Show. The greatest thing on radio there is right now. First up, we got the young guns in the NBA playoffs. They are just being super disrespectful. They're being super disrespectful.
George, us old guys out there?
To all the old guys. I mean, you're supposed to put in your 10,000 hours in life before you're good at something. And Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum don't care. And also, hot take of the day, which made people mad yesterday, is Jason Tatum is the best rookie in the 2017 draft, even above Donovan Mitchell.
Well, somebody has actually gone on record to say that might be a little bit more qualified than you and I, George, when it comes to the NBA.
Who could be more qualified than me?
I would think Dr. J.
Nope.
Former
Nope.
NBA superstar Hall of Famer saying that he should have been the number one pick. No, even when Markel Fultz was out his Sixers.
I 100% agree with Dr. J. He's a smart man. He's more agreeing with me than me agreeing with Dr. J.
Although I always say this, as far as top rookie in the NBA, look, Ben Simmons, don't frown. I know what happened. I know
he's a redshirt rookie, man.
All right, let's just look at it. I understand because Donovan Mitchell said it pretty clearly. I mean, he said, hey, there's rookie restrictions and so forth. You've already been in the league for a year prior. The rookie is for the guy that just comes in and does what he does. But Ben Simmons is quite an NBA player. We'll get into that in his night last night, which was pretty bad. But Donovan Mitchell, in his first 6 games in the playoffs, George, and I'm not counting his last 2, is top 3 all-time in productivity in what he's done. That's how impressive Donovan Mitchell is.
No, it's extreme. It's extremely impressive. So we're going to break that down. We're also going to break down the Matt Ryan contract, $30 million a year. And not just is he worth it, like everybody else is going to talk about. It's a matter of what is the expectation for this money, and related to you as a parent, you as anybody. Like if you invest in private school, and do you want your kid to go to a top university? If you invest all your money in terms of your kid being an athlete, private coaches, private training, what is the actual return that you want on your investment?
Oh, it's pretty simple. And what they're trying to say to all of us, the return that they want as the Atlanta Falcons organization is a Super Bowl championship. Just like the Minnesota Vikings did with Kirk Cousins. The floor, there is no floor here. There's only one thing you can do to be considered successful when you make that type of money. And Matthew Stafford's finding that out in Detroit. Jimmy Garoppolo's going to find that out in San Francisco. Your expectations have changed quite a lot when you start getting that type of money stratosphere, because the window shortens for your team, George. Because let's face it, you're going to now have to make decisions on player personnel. You might have to cut a few, or you might not be able to re-sign a certain guy because you're putting your eggs in that basket to win now. But we'll get into that a little bit later.
And the other thing that we have up today is there's a new place on the map. There's a new place on a world map. It has just been created. It's called Lebronto. Lebronto. It's not Toronto.
I actually heard that in a highlight last night.
Dude,
I heard it in Lebronto.
Yes.
Live from Lebronto.
Yeah. And that is hilarious because I've never seen a team, a group of players more terrified of anybody than I've seen the Toronto Raptors of LeBron James. And also, we have another special topic today, which is baseball too dangerous?
God, it might be coming that with what the statistics are out there, George. It's funny we say baseball dangerous. Yeah, when guys are hitting the ball at excess of 110 up to almost 120 miles per hour, that leaves one person on that field susceptible to something.
Yeah, but you know what it is?
Which hasn't happened yet.
Sports is too dangerous. We need to cut them all. We need to cut football, cut baseball.
No.
You get concussions in soccer.
Right, okay,
Rugby's too
PCA,
rough.
so you're
Hockey,
saying,
hockey hurts too. No, let's cut all sports. But let's start. We're at the beginning. Let's start with the Boston Celtics.
Oh yeah.
Who are the young guns of the NBA right now. So we're not getting the Eastern Conference playoffs that we thought we were going to get. We're getting the Eastern Conference playoffs that we deserve. And I'm going to tell you, I feel dirty. It makes me feel ugly inside because I'm a Lakers fan to look at the Boston Celtics and see them.
Unafraid to say that.
And see them winning, and not only winning, but me liking them. I like these Boston Celtics. I admit it, and it feels dirty inside.
Why do you like them so much? Just because of the fact the way that they play, it's the youthful exuberance, how they're coached, which I want to get into in just a minute. But it just seems, because I think you and me, George, we had opinions on this. And I think most of us thought when Kyrie Irving was not able to play for the playoffs, I think most of us thought,
oh, you thought it was a wrap.
This is done. They could lose in the first round. I mean, maybe not the first round, but they definitely were a team.
They won't be doing anything special.
They're not going to do anything special. Now, as you're watching this team, I mean, between Tatum, between Rozier, there's a lot going on with the Celtics team right now that, yes, you have to like them. Even you as a Los Angeles Lakers fan see what's going on right now in Boston. And it's special.
It is special. And the fabulous part about it is when you see how much fun that they appear to be having. You look at everybody from Jason Tatum, Rozier coming out of nowhere. You thought they were left for dead when Hayward got hurt. Yeah. And then when Kyrie got hurt, you were like, okay, well, there's no way, they blew their wad. They had an opportunity maybe next year. But when you look at how hard these young guys play, and the best part about them, which is what I love about watching the Warriors play, I love when the crowd goes bananas when they go on these runs and the crowd just feels, and you can feel the energy through your television and you're watching them and you're just like, they have no idea. They have no idea. It's like these dudes are too stupid to realize that they are supposed to lose. It's like, it's more than just 6-point dogs. Who cares? We're not 6-point dogs.
It's more than just, they always say the next guy up thing. This team is not just playing next guy up thing. This guy's playing like a championship quality team. And it's just amazing who the next guy is. Did you realize that, just to make this more painful for you, George, that the Celtics only have one player of note over 30 years of age, that being Al Horford. And Al's having a terrific playoff. But it's not even, it's like all these parts are put into a situation in which it just works. It's brilliant coaching. It's the athleticism that this team plays with. Nothing gets them down, George. They were down, let me just repeat this. They were down 22 points yesterday. 22 points. Now, okay, there was a lot of time left. It was early, okay? But the Sixers are a good, very, very good young team. We'll get into them in a minute. Okay, very good young team that we think is the next team, the it team in the Eastern Conference. They came all the way back. It was as if
they are so disrespectful. They are so disrespectful, man. You are supposed, if you're down 22 points, you're a young team. You are supposed to let the old guys win, and that's kind of what in the Western Conference. To switch over for a second with Donovan Mitchell and the Utah Jazz when they were playing against Russell Westbrook, playoff Paul George, Carmelo Anthony. That team's not supposed to beat that team.
No.
They're just not, and it's just
so huge upset in my mind. Gigantic upset. Oklahoma City Thunder should have been the team that got there to take on either the Rockets or the Warriors. They should not have been a first-round loser with the talent that they had on the court. But we did not know how good the Jazz played as a team.
And that team schmeme, man, the superstars win in the playoffs. But I want to ask you this, Eric.
Yeah.
Is how do you look at this in life? Because on one hand, there's a disrespect, like a legitimate disrespect of the process and all of that. They say you got to put in your 10,000 hours to be great in life. And then there's an element of these kids come in and they don't have the respect for their elders, respect for the game.
That happened a long time ago, though.
And you have kids And so it's like,
one of your
how do
favorite
you?
players of all time started that, by the way.
Who?
Kobe Bean Bryant.
No, he came in and sat on the bench, man.
Right, still he came in and was the young gun, started that kind of whole turn. LeBron James.
Yeah, but you gotta. I'm just asking. So as a parent,
bring your time in is gone in sports.
As a parent, right?
As a father.
So you sit up there and you teach your kid, if they're going to go play on a team, going to go work in an industry, you teach them respect for their elders, you teach them all that.
Of course.
But how do you reconcile teaching them being bold, not caring, but then at the same time, having respect for who's been there before you?
When it comes to playing a sport, when it comes to being competitive, no, there's only one thing. There's you being the best on the court at that time. That's what you are out there to be.
Yeah, but you can be the best.
It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter what, respect. You play to the best of your ability, and you do it no matter what you think that your opponent or what the other person's trying. You've got to sit there and make an example of how much better you are than the person that's in front of you.
I
There's
agree.
no winning for being a nice guy anymore in sports.
I know, but I agree with that. But I'll take example for when I came into the NFL.
Right.
I came into the NFL. I did not respect the people. I had that same mentality. Like, forget y'all old dudes. I'm here. This is my time. I'm not worried about what y'all talking about, any of that, right?
Who's the veteran on the Jags that took a swipe at you or told you, hey, this is in line. You're going to get in line. You're going to learn your role. Well, there's got to be somebody that checked you.
They tried to, but I just didn't care. Like, I was not down with that. I was not down with that part of the program. But looking back on my career, I realized I was a young, dumb punk at that point in time.
Weren't we all in some form or fashion?
And I really wish that I had looked at it a little bit differently. I wish that I had given the older guys the respect that they earned and deserved, yet at the same time took and owned my own reality and where I was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think that there's a fine line between not giving anything on the court, which you shouldn't, or on the field, like you shouldn't give an inch. But then at the same time, like, you're still a rookie. You still need to carry the bags, buy the lunch.
Like the process. It's like saying we're in business and you're sort of the apprentice. You're the young guy. You're coming in. You've got to take the time to learn, feel out everything. Be respectful is what you're saying. Grow into the process, which – we see in the NFL, guys are drafted. They normally will sit a year. Some coaches still do that. A lot don't anymore.
I'm not sitting you
right.
if you're good enough to play.
Right.
But I think that you have to have a respect for the game and the people who have been there before you.
But it does get to a point too, George, when you're looking at a lot of these young guys that they're past a rookie level. It's like the high schools, the travel teams that are out. The process of these kids, they're far more advanced, even in high school, with the opportunities that they have, so that when they get into the NBA, some of these kids are already polished. They're polished. Donovan Mitchell is polished. Jason Tatum is polished. So these guys are coming in, and it's as if they already have the experience of playing on the travel teams that are out there.
Yep. A lot of these dudes have been practicing with pros for a number of years. So I think that that's where a lot of their confidence and willingness to do this. And I'll tell you this. I think the difference between great coaches, great players, guys who make it and flourish early has a lot to do with, one, mentality. It's got to do with their mentality and all that. So, but we have a phone call right now. Okay, bring them up. Okay, or not. Okay, gone. Okay, so I think it has a lot to do with the mentality of the players, their mindset, but also at the same time, I think it has to do with a certain level of confidence and belief in yourself.
Sure.
Because if you believe in yourself, then and you're willing to be bold.
Being a professional athlete, how hard it is to get to that level. Okay, it is the hardest thing.
Yep.
No matter how talented you are, there is a process of you showing a certain ability. So let's get to the phones right now. I'm glad you guys are jumping in. 323-230-4445. Please state your name. Who's calling us? Almost. We're gonna get one eventually. Here.
So, but we'll transition over to the coaches, though, Eric.
I see some good young players, good coaches as well. I got one player I got to get to though, George. Before we go there.
Who?
Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, what happened to him last night? Because I want to know, as you as a former
One
player,
point.
1 point. Okay, in the first 2 games, he's like minus 40 on the court. All
Yep.
right. When TJ McConnell has come in the game, the Sixers have actually played better. All right. But were you at a point at ever your rookie year, or it's obviously his year 2, but in the beginning where you had a game like that? How do you overcome that mentally? Because he's going to have to. And the statistics are out there. Teams that start out 2-0, and it's like almost like 90% they're going to win.
Ben Simmons is swimming in the deep end right now. He's swimming in the deep end. He's got a problem that cannot be fixed right now. And that's the fact that it's time for us to revisit the conversation about, it's not a big deal that Ben Simmons can't shoot.
No, it is a big deal.
The fact that Ben Simmons can't shoot and is not even a threat from even 15 feet, that makes the defense be able to double on Joel Embiid, makes closeouts harder for J.J. Redick. And then you have a team that's relying on J.J. Redick and a big man, who it's difficult to rely on a big man to score in terms of being your bell cow. Like, you usually need a ball handler or guard. But J.J. Redick is the guy you're going to lean on to save the day? I mean, come on. That just doesn't work.
He's off, the Sixers shooting-wise, it's been off. So last night they were better. They were better last night. They had a 22-point lead. But yeah, so you're saying, I think it comes to the aggressiveness for Ben. There's a learning process still to go. He's got to work.
No, he's got to learn how to shoot.
Right, that is an issue.
if
no matter if you're 6'10" or not, that is a slight issue.
Listen, there is a problem. You can be 6'10" all you want to. However, even Rajon Rondo had to learn how to shoot. You can't even leave Rajon Rondo wide open right now.
It's interesting you say that, because they have a youngster on their team, Fultz, who's basically having to learn how to shoot as well. So
this dude's learning how to play basketball. This man's heart is made out of Swiss cheese, apparently.
All right, so now we're going to transition to the sidelines.
Yep.
Great, because this is something that we talked a little bit before the show. I am uber impressed with what I'm seeing on the sidelines by a couple of young coaches that they've had college basketball success. Both of them. We're talking about Brad Stevens and Quinn Snyder. Okay, both had very similar records the first 2 years, coming from college, going to the pros. Their team struggled, which, you got to see the acclimation process. You're going from kids to pros, a little bit different. But how impressive is it that these two coaches in particular, granted, look, the Jazz hit a grand slam getting Donovan Mitchell, as we just talked about, and the Celtics have done a pretty darn good draft, and they get the guy that probably should be 1 overall, and they got him where they got him. And Jason Tatum, Terry Rozier's playing well. But these coaches are putting them in an atmosphere to succeed. They're playing these kids to their strengths, George, and that is what's incredibly impressive, and why you have to now consider these two guys as top 10 in the NBA. And I'm going to go on record saying Brad Stevens.
Wait, who was top 10 in the NBA?
Right now, I would say Brad Stevens and Quinn Snyder are getting to that level.
Yeah, in terms of coaching.
And Brad Stevens could be top 5 easily. And look, there's Greg Popovich, and I got to go Pop first. But, you could put Brad Stevens, even if you put him behind Pop, I wouldn't complain at number 2 right now. He's that good of a coach.
I would agree with you about Brad Stevens, but also I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment, because there are a bunch of good coaches in the NBA, and I actually got in a little bit of a little Twitter spat with some people earlier this week, because I gave Brad Stevens credit. I said, Brad Stevens, that he does what Tyronn Lue cannot do, and Doc Rivers as well, that he is able to get the most out of his bench players, that he's able to strategize, put together a game plan in a way that these guys have not. Because when you look at Brad Stevens, no matter who's been in through the 4 years he's been there, through 4 years of playoff runs, his teams have overachieved. The guys playing for him have overachieved.
Yes.
Like, whether they were low-level guys played like mid-level guys played like stars. And that's what Brad Stevens is able to do. And people took a swipe at me. They were like, really? You want to give the
shot at George Reister? How could you?
Really? You want to give the white man credit, and you're finding a way to slight the black coaches? I'm like, man, this is coaching. You're either a good coach or a bad coach.
Yeah, but you know something? Even if you think he's a bad coach, George, okay, and there's NFL bad coaches that have put a ring on their finger. They do get to go in a bar. they do get to get that drink and they get to reach over, and then there's a championship ring on their finger. So I know you're bashing Tyronn Lue. I've agreed with you in some respects. There's also an NFL coach by the name of Barry Switzer that has a Super Bowl ring. Great college guy. I don't know. He got
Here is
Jimmy
the
Johnson's,
thing.
He got Jimmy Johnson's leftovers.
The Cavaliers and Tyronn Lue won. I'm sorry, the Cavaliers won in spite of Tyronn Lue, not because of Tyronn Lue. And I'm going to give you a football reference for this. Ben Roethlisberger gets credit for 2 Super Bowls, but his first Super Bowl, he sucked. And then the Steelers
Didn't
won.
Antoine Randall have a higher
quarterback rating, yes. They won in spite of him, not because of him. And that's the same thing that the Cavaliers have been able to do with Tyronn Lue. Like these coaches, it matters who your coach is, particularly in the playoffs. And that's one of the things that I've just found is just absolutely dumbfounding for me when you look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. LeBron not having a great coach. Finally, the role players start showing up. And there's a new city in the, on the globe in North America. There's an entire new city because of what LeBron has done.
He literally owns the city of Toronto, and the new name
is LeBronto.
Yeah. I think if for some reason Toronto, which I don't see it getting back to Canada, but if it was to get to a Game 5, I think they need to find some kind of visa or issue with his passport and not let LeBron play for Game 5. I think that would be really smart on their behalf because he is so and it's just like it doesn't matter what Toronto does. You could even see some of their players when he kept hitting those fadeaways, George. They were literally looking up in the sky as if, what is this? This is we're getting in his face, and it doesn't matter. He's finding a way to beat us because, well, I've said this before. He's the best player on the planet right now, and he can do what he can do. He can score. He can pass. He can defend. He's a terrific rebounder. There's nothing that LeBron James cannot do. And the Cavaliers, yes, as you just said, have some players waking up a little bit. Hey, Kevin Love. 31
it's
points.
Because they're playing against Toronto, and they're and I've said this for
I thought should have lost in the first round. Yeah,
And I've said this about Toronto for a while, and I've said it, and everybody tries to tell me, George, this year's different. The Toronto Raptors are different this year. No, they're not. They are the biggest pump fakers in sports. They pump fake you regularly. Oh yeah, this the year, and then LeBron comes in and they cower in the corner. I mean, it is, and part of it is not their fault. If you guys want to weigh in on this, 323-230-4445, Unafraid Show here, George Reister, Eric Peterson here, and we're talking about LeBronto. LeBron owns Canada right now. He owns Drake. He owns the Raptors. He owns everybody out there.
And that was a question that I had for you as a question of the day as well, is who had a worse night? Drake as the proverbial Toronto Raptors fan, or Kevin Hart, the actor-comedian, seeing his team's 22-point lead go up in smoke and that face that only Kevin Hart can make? Who had a worse night as far as being a fan of George Reister? Kevin or Drake? And in fact, the NBA actually came out and told Drake he's got to watch his language because he got into it with the veteran who still finds a way to get a paycheck in Kendrick Perkins.
It's not even close. It's not even close. Who had the worst night, Kevin Hart or Drake?
Yeah.
Oh, my God, it's Drake by far. Drake had the worst night because Drake actually believed that his team was going to the NBA Finals. He's believed that this year was different, and then only to be let down again. That was such a huge letdown that's a heartbreaker. And if you're Kevin Hart, here's what you have to remember about 76ers fans, especially in 2018. Here's what they all have in their back pocket. They have in their back pocket, it's okay. We overachieved this year. We're ahead of schedule.
Oh, the Similac.
Yes.
Still learning how to win. What is that, George? I hear this all the time, and this is a sports radio crutch. Okay. They've got to learn how to win. What, these guys didn't come from high school / college?
It's different, bro.
It is. And that's the thing, because, they say, oh, the speed, the maturity, the talent level. Is that the one thing? Because as a former athlete, tight end of the Jacksonville Jaguars and New York Giants. The biggest difference for you, and again, the NFL is a little different because it's a lot of physical maturity going on. Difference because you know how to win, George. I'm guessing you won.
You have the desire to win, but you don't know how to win in the NBA, NFL, NHL, any of that, because you're playing against grown-ass men. Like, these are grown men with mortgages, wives, girlfriends, people getting sick in their family, them having to pay other people's bills. They have real life problems. Like, these are grown men, and there's a difference in competing against somebody who's playing for their livelihood as opposed to somebody who's playing, because I love this and I have a dream that I want to get, as opposed to somebody who's like, man, I got a house to buy. I'm trying to get a vacation crib. I want this new Bugatti. I'm trying to keep up this lifestyle. I don't want to be the one who goes broke. I'm not trying to be any of that. So you got a lot of pressure on you that's different than a college kid. And you have to, and the media pressure. And the biggest difference is that when college announcers, opinionists, analysts, when they analyze you, they talk about your play more than anything. When you get to the pros, they attack you as a person a little bit more. They attack your character. They kind of dehumanize you a little bit more than they humanize you when you're a college athlete.
So it's a mental process more than it's because the physical ability is there.
Yep.
You just get a little bigger, stronger. You realize you got to be as fast as you can be when you're at the professional level. But it's the mentality aspect, maybe learning as a team to be a better teammate.
Yeah, you learn how to practice.
System, the practice, the wear and tear. The media. The media is probably a lot more harsher the minute you go from college. It's pretty tough in college too. But when you become a pro athlete and you're making these millions of dollars, okay, like Matt Ryan making these millions of dollars, we're going to get into that in a little bit.
When I say the boy's got his own money,
the
boy's got his own money.
He can own his own. He could own. All right, LeBronto, if Matt Ryan wanted to, that's how much money that guy's getting. So, a lot of growing up to do 76ers. In fact, this statistic, George, is pretty ominous for Sixer fans, and I was one of them before I saw the stat. Okay, before I walked in here, I thought, look, what did the Sixers really lose? They lost 2 games on the road. In the NBA, home teams usually clean house. They usually do. We saw the Utah Jazz upset Houston the other night.
Yep.
That was a big surprise. But here's the stat, George. The Boston Celtics, all time, all right, in the gazillion years and the many banners that they've put up, I know as a Laker fan, that
17. They have 17.
17 of them. They are 36-0, went up 2-0 in a best-of-7 series. 36-0. The only thing as a 76er fan you've got to think about in the back of your head right now is there's got to be a first time. There has to be, and it all starts with playing the best game of your life in Game 3, okay, and finding a way to make the Celtics realize, these young guns, that they might not be as good as they're playing right now. And that there's no question when I look at these rosters from A to Z right now, minus Gordon Hayward and minus Kyle, Irving, all right? Right now, that these teams are not same talent. I think the 76ers have a lot more talent. I just see Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward not being there. It's just amazing what the Celtics are doing. So we got into LeBronto. I want to continue on LeBron James because I really think, George, okay, that this is fascinating what he's doing right now.
Okay.
But I think there's something even bigger that we really want to jump into and talk about with LeBron James. That's what is he going to do next year. George Reister, the former NFL star, Eric Peterson, radio savant. This is the Unafraid Show on Dash Talk Radio. You cool with that?
Yeah.
So after this, you're gonna the Terry Rozier, right? After this bit.
You know, I was gonna play it there, but we just kind of went.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I
You
thought
can
you
skip
said
it.
the
I think no
first part.
sound on LeBron. We don't need it.
Oh, that's okay. I just wanted to make sure. But
No,
it's
thank
fine.
you.
We'll skip it.
Hit LeBron quickly and then head into Matt Ryan. Yep.
Okay. So
Hey,
wanna just
thank
do
you
that
guys.
in one segment.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Thank you guys. We are on a slight little break right now. Appreciate your time. Appreciate your energy, man. You guys can call in 323-230-4445. We will get to you as soon as possible. We want to hear from you guys here on the Unafraid Show. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to come back in. We want to do I Can't Stop because LeBron's been so. And then we're going to, when we segue, we'll look to you. We want Money, Pink Floyd. When we get into Matt Ryan, I will signal to you.
Okay, so after we come back from the break, you want me to go to the Flux Pavilion?
Yeah, let's do Flux Pavilion.
Yeah.
All right, I'm ready whenever you are.
So I'll just switch the songs. So I'll put your mics on and switch the songs now. Yeah?
Yeah, getting ready to come back.
Okay.
Yeah, something that the Toronto Raptors cannot do.
They can't stop LeBron.
James, they cannot stop him. Okay? That is going on right now. We talked about LeBron James, LeBronto. But I want to get into this with you, George. Really, the fascinating aspect of what's going to happen this NBA offseason. I realize there's the NBA playoffs to continue. The Warriors are probably going to raise the banner again. Cleveland will probably get into the predictability of the NBA playoffs. But what is going to become of arguably the best player in the NBA? Where is he going to go? Where should he go? What would be the best choice for LeBron James as far as his next home? Now, the New York Knicks just hired David Frisdale, who has this relationship with LeBron, has a situation in New York he's got to take care of. He's got to go to Latvia pretty soon and talk to Porzingis about, reestablishing that relationship and then figuring out what they're going to do with their salary cap, because that's an issue with some contracts that need to go. We can mention some names. Noah's one of them. But where is the place in which LeBron James would be the best fit? Where, if it's about his legacy, let's face this, it's about rings. He doesn't need any more money. He's arguably already top 10 player NBA history. You can put him wherever you want. Some people can put him behind Michael Jordan. Maybe he'll make some kind of push to try to get past MJ as far as titles. Where should he go? Because the legacy is about winning, George.
Okay, we have to think about the locations that have been talked about already. Obviously, you got staying in Cleveland, the Lakers, the Clippers, the San Antonio Spurs, and the 76ers.
Yeah.
Like, those are the 5 teams that people have really pointed to. And then I was like, hold up, Fizdale just got the job in New York. Let me look at these New York Knicks and their salary situation. It's awful. It's awful. And namely with like Cantor, Noah's salaries, like this is not a team that LeBron will be going to. So get that out of your mind. I thought it for about 38 seconds, and then I realized this is a horrible, horrible idea. I think that I believe that LeBron's ultimate destination next season is going to be based upon how well the Cleveland Cavaliers do in the playoffs. If this team continues, I think that last night's game against Toronto was like a big moment. It was like, hold up, maybe we can do this here. I think that was a moment for him. He was like, okay, all right, maybe we can. However, if they were to come out and get pushed to 7 by the Toronto Raptors and then lose in the Eastern Conference Finals or even lose in the finals badly, he's out of there. He's out of there. Yeah, I mean,
because honestly, my thought process.
He doesn't have time to waste. This is year 15.
Yeah. He's got a lot more wear and tear than most NBA players because of all the games that he's played. I think the ideal situation as a fan that likes to see players kind of finish, where they started. I would love to see him stay.
That's cute.
I know,
I'd like to see him finish where they started.
But it's not going to happen because
the teams aren't loyal, so the players can't.
Right, exactly. And here's the thing: it's not the Cleveland Cavaliers. You can take LeBron James away from that team. They're in the Eastern Conference. Maybe they get to a 7th. Maybe they get to an 8th seed. They're not winning an NBA championship. They're not going to win an NBA championship right now because of the team that's up there, up the coast a little bit. The Golden State Warriors are a dynasty. So where is it? Do you stay in the East Coast in the Eastern Conference, which is weaker, so you at least guarantee yourself a shot, George, of getting to the NBA Finals. That's in LeBron's mind. That's all that matters is winning right now, and he's going to get the ka-ching. He's already made more money than most athletes have ever made in the history of their lives, and he's only going to be even bigger as far as that and making money off the court as well. He's a very smart guy. So
yeah, but his legacy, like you said, the legacy is the most important thing to him right now. So he's got to win rings. Like the rings have to be the priority. So he can't go to a team that's a year away, 2 years away.
Yeah, or a few years. He's got to kind of stay in as far as what he's got to go to a team where there's a basis for him to win more.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. He's got to be able to not only win, but he's got to be able to win now. Like, he can't wait 1 year, 2 years.
He's too far along.
Yeah, he's 15 years in his career. Like, that's year 3, 4, 5 stuff. And that's where players have learned to be more consistent and think about their long-term future, their legacy earlier in their career, instead of just pointing to it like, okay, maybe I'll try to win some championships later. They're like, no, I need to win championships now.
So, we've gone about looking at what it's going to be. Where is he going to go? The team that we just talked about, the Philadelphia 76ers, all right, that are losing to the Boston Celtics right now 2-0. Could LeBron be a fit for the 76ers? Could LeBron be the piece that puts them over the top?
Yes, if they get rid of Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
That's the thing about, you can't have a guy on the court with LeBron who cannot shoot the basketball.
Right.
It's proven. It's proven. So Ben Simmons and LeBron James cannot live in the same atmosphere.
And Simmons would make a good trade chip to maybe bring in another piece that they might need. Maybe.
Yeah, but would you? But if you're the 76ers, are you willing to mortgage your future
to win?
No, to potentially win right now, and LeBron will stay 2 years and then bounce again.
Yeah, with what the 76er fans have had to deal with how bad the organization has suffered wins and losses, there is no question in my mind that LeBron James, would be that piece that the fans would get excited about because of the young talent that's already there. Joel Embiid is phenomenal young talent, okay? You're hoping that Fultz develops into something. Obviously, you're going to have to trade Ben Simmons. That's, as we just discussed. But Ben Simmons is going to be a really good young player. Now,
do you hear that in the background?
Oh, yeah, that's like money. I hear ching.
Hey,
we just talking LeBron James's bank account. I think he plays this. The bank account he has when he plays this. Okay, but someone could sing today, George.
Do you know what this song was like coming on slowly in the background was? This was like a WWE moment when they're outside in the ring. They're talking in the ring. We're talking about LeBron James, and then all of a sudden the music goes off, and you're like,
go.
And then here comes Ted DiBiase, the $1 million man, a.k.a. Matt Money. I'm changing the name.
Yeah, Matt Money. Matty Ice is no more. It's Matt Money, right?
Yeah, he's Matt Money. He's got that. When I say the boy's got his own money, like Coming to America, the boy has got his own money. What did he get? 5-year extension, $150 million, $100 million guaranteed. First time it's ever happened in the NFL. And I asked you, this was my first thought when I saw it. If Matt Ryan is worth $100 million, how much is Aaron Rodgers worth, who's getting ready to get another contract extension?
This is the whole thing about it. If you're Aaron Rodgers, you are smiling ear to ear right now. All right. First, you saw Kirk Cousins cash in $28 million for not even winning a playoff game. Okay, in your own division.
I played in the wrong years, man.
And Jimmy G, no offense, 7 games in his NFL career, 27.
Only 5 with the same team.
Right.
Only 5 with San Francisco.
Okay, what is he? All right, he hasn't won a playoff game.
Nope.
And then there's Matty Ice Ryan. Look, I have some stats, and I'm going to tell you this, okay? Because I want to put this as a businessman.
Before you give me the stats, I want to tell everybody why he's giving me these stats. Because first of all, I have said that Matt Ryan, first of all, is not a top 5 quarterback, first and foremost.
Wow, not even a top 5.
No, he's not. What the hell is wrong with you? Huh?
I know Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Let's not even
Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Drew Brees, and Ben Roethlisberger are before you can even mention Matt Ryan's name.
What's interesting about that? You know what's interesting about that is none of them are in the top 3 paid quarterback situation. So all of those guys you just mentioned, and maybe Ben Roethlisberger, he's heading towards retirement.
No. He just said he's got 3 to 5 more years in him.
He did just
yes,
say, we'll
did.
see how, because he takes it year to year, and those concussions can add up. So my thought is this. They're not even in the top 3 as paid. What is the bar now for quarterback? Because Aaron's going to reset that.
Dude,
he's going to reset it in the next couple months.
They might as well give him Steph Curry's contract and be like, yo, we'll give you a 5-year extension, $205 million, just fully guaranteed.
Do this here. Sign your total, what you want,
please.
sign your name.
Yeah, they're going to give him a blank check.
This is
like, please.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, please resign. We'll give you anything. We'll give you a kidney. We'll give you a liver. Just please sign back. Because Matt Ryan and Aaron Rodgers aren't even the same stratosphere. Like, they're not even in the somebody on Twitter said to me, they're basically the same guy. I was like, are you high, drunk, or crazy? Like, nobody would ever say that. And I would actually submit to you this. Matt Ryan is the 8th best quarterback in the NFL.
All right, 8th. So who, after we had your top 5, who would you kind of add after that?
So we got Aaron Rodgers 1.
Yeah.
Tom Brady 2.
I switched those 2 guys.
How?
Just because
dude, Aaron Rodgers is the most unstoppable force there is in football. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, Ben Roethlisberger, Cam Newton 6, Phillip Rivers 7, and then
you're putting Phillip Rivers ahead of Matt. Phillip Rivers hasn't even sniffed the Super Bowl.
Do you understand that Matt? Okay, here's the thing about Matt Ryan that people don't realize is that his MVP year, 38 touchdowns, would he have like 9 or 10 picks?
Yeah,
that was
amazing.
That was an outlier. The rest of his seasons last year, he followed up last year with a 20 touchdown year. The year before his MVP year, 21 touchdowns. Like, that's just who he's been. You have to admit it. Like, you can't just say like the MVP year was an outlier. Like, he's not phenomenally special. Like, he's not a guy.
No, and I don't view him that way because he's not really flashy. You know,
it's not even flashy.
It doesn't matter though, because I think teams and organizations look at it like this. If I told you, George, that one of these 6 quarterbacks that were just drafted last week, okay, if they would do this, they would start 158 out of 160 games.
It sounds like a good draft pick.
Take you to a Super Bowl.
Sounds like a good draft pick.
Had 95 touchdowns or 95 wins and only 63 losses. 95 wins and 63 losses, okay?
Yep.
Would you want that guy? Would you draft him and would you
Absolutely.
pay him? You would move, and your team's going to be in the playoffs every year.
If I'm drafting a quarterback.
That's what you want, right?
Absolutely. That there is no dispute that Matt Ryan should have been the 2nd pick in the draft in the year that he was drafted, 10 years ago. Nobody can dispute that. Because if you get a franchise quarterback, a guy who can consistently take you to the playoffs, which he couldn't do at first.
Right.
But a guy who can consistently get you to the playoffs, throw for 4,000 yards a year, all of that. But here's the difference between Matt Ryan and elite quarterbacks. Because I put elite quarterbacks as the top 5 guys in the league. There are only 32 teams. If I put the top 8 even in elite, I've now put 25% of the league in as elite? No, I'm not doing that. So that's why I say the top 5 guys.
So you're putting him in a very, very good. Look, top 10, you're very, very, very good.
Yeah.
But you're getting paid. You're getting paid.
Yeah, but the question,
Beverly Hills.
Yeah, and my question to you is this about Matt Ryan: is do you believe that you can put the ball in his hands and he go win it for you?
Wow. I'll say this. Yeah. You know what? He should have.
No! Don't tell me about what he. Don't tell me about what he should have done.
Okay. Right now, do I feel confident he can go down the field? Yeah, I do feel confident he could win a game. Easily.
Okay, so my. No, I don't mean just go down the field and have like a couple runs and No, I'm talking about
he can lead his team down the field and win a game.
So, who is more likely to put the ball? I mean, to lead his team on a game-winning drive?
There's a few
no timeout.
Put ahead of him, of course.
Would you put Aaron Rodgers ahead of him?
Of course I would.
Tom Brady.
Yes.
Drew Brees.
Yes.
Russell Wilson.
Yes.
Ben Roethlisberger. He's done it.
I know he has. 3 or 4 years ago, I'd say yes.
Did you just see the damn playoff game against the Jaguars where he threw for like 800 yards?
It was amazing.
Okay,
actually,
so
and I'll say this: Tom Brady's most impressive game I've ever seen was in a loss to the Philadelphia Eagles when he threw for like 500 yards.
Yeah, and then those are the elite quarterbacks that can do that.
You can Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
Oh.
And if you get down by 21 points, any of those guys can bring you back. But the question is, can Cam Newton bring you back down from 21?
I don't. Cam Newton is such a physical freak and ability to beat you both throwing and running.
It's possible, but
I want to see him with a complete team.
Yeah, but it's possible.
He got him to the Super Bowl.
Correct. It's possible, but you don't feel like you're not.
No, I'm not as confident as Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson.
You're not. No. Oh, okay. When people get up 21 points on those 5 quarterbacks, they're in the first quarter or in the first half, they're not feeling safe. If you get up 21 on Cam in the first half, you're probably like, okay, we're probably going to win this game. Phillip Rivers, same thing. Matt Ryan, same thing. But with Roethlisberger, Wilson, Breeze, Brady, and Rodgers, you get up 21 points in the first half, the coach is saying, guys, we got to keep our foot on the gas pedal.
The best as far as any kind of Hail Mary at last, when you're a defense and you're up 6 and this guy has the ball, you are worried more. So Aaron Rodgers is number 1 as far as throwing the Hail Mary. That there is, I've never seen a guy do it so many times and so successfully than Aaron Rodgers. He's the number 1 guy you would look at as far as the comeback guys.
Oh,
Brady's right there too. I mean, obviously 27-3 Super Bowl, that is as amazing as can be, considering Matt Ryan did something in that very game, George. And you and I talked about this before the show. Okay, he did something which in my book is inexcusable. I don't play the game, so the speed of the game is a lot different. But on a 3rd down, Falcons in field goal position, okay?
Took a sack.
Yep. Flowers came around. You've got to get rid of the ball there. You've got to throw it out of bounds and protect, because that field goal, this is how close it is in the National Football League. That field goal would have won if it was in. You still got to kick it. The pressure, it could have missed. Could have won the Atlanta Falcons the Super Bowl. Would have iced that game. It was completely different when they punted, and then you give Tom Brady the ball and do what he did, which is beyond amazing, what the Patriots did to the Falcons.
So now my question to you is this, Eric. What is the expectation? You give Matt Ryan,
Well, there's only one thing.
You give Matt Ryan $100 million guaranteed, $150 million, which he could possibly see all of it. If he just what makes the contract valid for fans? Does it have to be a Super Bowl?
Yes.
And multiple Super Bowls, or does it have to be
Super Bowl? If he wins one Super Bowl, it will pay off, and they're constantly in the playoffs. Because I look at it like this, George. Okay, and just to kind of put it in a situation. Say I'm running a business, and we get guys into this whole thing. We're interviewing them. I get Phillip Rivers in there. I'm thinking, man, he's cocky. He's brash, this and that. I'm getting Russell Wilson in there. Man, great guy, good attitude. Seems like a guy I could, win with. He's got that. And put all these names. Most GMs would look at Matt Ryan and say, this guy doesn't cause any trouble to his team. No one is. I have never heard anyone say a bad thing about this guy.
Who cares?
Okay, he wins. He's 95 and 63. I'll take that any day out of my starting quarterback.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And MVP of the National Football League. That's something. Best player in your sport for 1 year.
Do you know who Matt Ryan is? I'm gonna give you a perfect example. He's Tony Romo. He's a guy that's so good.
No, he's won in the playoffs.
He's a guy who's so good that you can't replace him. So good, and the only thing that you can replace him with is an elite quarterback.
On that comparison.
That's who he is, and you're going to see again this year. Where would you agree that Matt Ryan had an underwhelming year?
I would say statistically that does statistically, George, looking at it, they scored 11 points the game last year. No, he definitely struggled last year.
Okay,
to his standard that he set the year before.
But which is pretty consistent with the rest of his career. So would you, if Matt Ryan has the same type of year this year, would you then concede the fact that, I don't know.
That money I paid? Yeah, because here's the bottom line.
Even if they go to the playoffs,
right,
you're still not getting exceptional play out of it.
First round. Yeah, well, at the Philadelphia game.
Yep.
The Philadelphia game, I really expected the Atlanta Falcons. I think a lot
I don't
of
know
people
why.
did.
I don't know why you did.
Because well, they came close. There was a pass at the end of that game Whether it was catchable or not, it was not.
It was
completed.
not catchable.
All right, so he got him close. They didn't win. They did not beat the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Eagles went on, as we all know, to win the Super Bowl.
Next,
so my thing with Matt Ryan is this. You have to look right. The floor is this. He's now signed something. He's put his name on a dotted line that says to the Atlanta Falcon fans this. We've got to win a Super Bowl in the next 2 years because I'm going to tell you why. That roster is full of a lot of really good young players, okay? And some veterans. And that contract, just like Kirk Cousins' contract in Minnesota, is going to cost a few players to have to be removed from the roster. A few players are going to have to leave. So this year, there's actually a lot more pressure on Matt right now as there would be with Kirk Cousins, although, Kirk's just going to a new situation. There could be some built-in excuses. But there's going to be some stud players leaving the organization because the team's not going to be able to afford them.
And that's why you can only pay a quarterback this much money when he can win games for you without star talent around him, like Aaron Rodgers has been able to do, like Tom Brady has been able to do, Russell Wilson. These guys, they've turned other people into stars. And that leads me to this, Eric, is this same conversation about what validates the investment that you put in. I want to know, you as a parent, or you guys out there as a parent, call in 323-230-4445. You're listening to Unafraid Show on radio-radio.com/-talk, or listen to the Dash Talk app. As a parent, or you guys out there, call in as well. As a parent, if you have a kid who's an athlete and you are spending money on training, private training, club teams, whether it's volleyball, football, basketball, baseball, any of that, and you put in over the course of this kid's career, including your travel, jerseys, all of this stuff, $50,000, $100,000 into this kid for these activities, what is your expectation of a return out of it?
Well, number one, as a parent, the bottom line is you wouldn't do all these things, George, if he didn't show you he wanted it. If he didn't show you he wants to do this.
Yeah, but it's still an investment.
And it's still of course it is. Of course it is.
And everybody wants a return on their investment.
Our sons or daughters all around to try to play their sport and be supportive. But, your kid has shown you something that this is something that he loves to do. This is something that
what is the proper return? What is the proper
the proper return is the experience as far as he's enjoying it. He loves it.
So would...
But I'm not going to put the expectation. No, would I like to, as a parent, see him get a scholarship? Of course. Absolutely.
So if you fork out over the course of 18 years, $100,000, you're not going to be looking at this kind of like, I don't know if I should have put that much into it, being that...
Well, if I had that money in the first place to pump into it, then that's all right, George. Fine, you know what? Yeah, maybe I'd be like, hey, he didn't reach it, but that's just the way it is. For most kids out there, that's what happens.
I don't believe that parents feel like that. You guys call in 323-230-4445. I want to know how you guys feel about this. If you invest in your kid, because my kid plays travel baseball, he gets private lessons, he plays basketball as well, he's played football, and I'm sitting there like, I know some parents who break the bank for all this training, and I want to know what is the proper return for your investment, because I look at this. You have to assess where your kid is at.
Sure. Before you even get to the lessons, before you get to the...
My kids have been born on third base athletically. Athletically, they've been born on third base. Like they have a dad who was an athlete, other family members who've been professional athletes. And it's kind of in your blood. You kind of understand the mentality. They've been around other athletes. They train like athletes. Like professional athletes. So they've been born athletically on third base.
I can ask you this one thing.
Okay.
How much pressure does that put on them? How much pressure does that put? Like Michael Jordan's son, okay? I'm just saying.
Of course it puts some pressure on them.
Your kids to match that level.
Oh my God, they have to deal with some pressure. So what, man?
It's called life.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't put the pressure on him in terms of son, you have to be better than your dad. You have to be a great athlete.
No, those parents.
No, here's what I do with my kids. I have them sit down and write down goals. What are your goals for the school year? What are your goals for the sports? What are your goals as a person? So we have to write down these goals. And then once you write down your goals, not the goals that dad has for you, not the goals that you think dad has for you, what do you want? And as soon as you write that down on paper, dad is going to formulate a plan to make that happen for you.
I'm just writing that down, George, because I'm going to start setting that up for my son. Be like, look, goals, I want them right now. Thank you. Boom.
Yeah, and as soon as you get them, then you can set up a plan for how you're going to achieve those goals. Right. And sometimes it's going to be some hard work. Sometimes it's going to be this and that, because especially with the 12-year-old and the 18-year-old. We have to have these conversations sometimes, like, what do you really want? I mean, because, I want this, I want that. No, you don't really want it because you're not working for it at that level. If you want it, you got to be willing to go out there and fight,
I have
scratch,
a 16-year-old in that same level, George. I get that. You got to push him. You got to motivate him properly.
Yep.
There's good ways of motivating. There's bad ways of motivating. All right? So you've got to find what works for your son. I got to find what works for my son. You find things and you still learn. It's a process. And I like how you sat there and said, and put it on them. What do you want?
Yep.
What is your goal? Because you've lived a privileged life so far.
Yep.
But the reality comes. You're a teenager, and guess what? The real world's going to hit. And it's no longer a privilege. It's something you've got to go out and earn. So, yes, I want to hear investment-wise what parents out there think. Call in right now, 323-230-4445. George Reister, Eric Peterson. This is the Unafraid Show here on Dash Talk, because I really think that there's an expectation levels, but it really is personal expectation levels and you finding a way to get them to that point. So what is that? What is that necessarily, George, for you, for having your sons already be at third base, okay, which is a lot more. Mine might have gotten halfway to first base. Okay? No, he actually was very good at baseball and basketball, so he got to second base, but there was a point where the love factor wasn't there.
Yeah.
Right? And so, look, I left it on him. Do you want to continue to play or you don't? Because there's things we can do if you want. And he kind of said, no, I'd rather not do that anymore.
Okay, even if it's not sports, though. Think about people who invest in their kids academically.
Sure.
They get tutors. They
expensive.
send them to Mathnasium, Kumon, Huntington, C2, all of these places.
Yeah.
Spend thousands upon thousands of tens of thousands of dollars. And then sometimes the parents will spring for private school too.
Yeah.
$15,000, $20,000 a year.
My mom knows out there. She sent me to a few schools back in the day.
Yeah, I mean,
it was boarding though. That was for different reasons.
And some of these schools, $30,000 a year, and you're.
Oh yeah. It's like a college tuition in itself.
So if your kid goes there, screws around, and then doesn't get into a top school, because that's the whole reason why you send your kid to private schools, to get them into a top college, to set up their life. So if they then don't achieve that goal, if they do not work hard enough to get there, how are you as a parent? Because we're not talking about sports now. We're talking about academics.
Everyday life, because there's that pressure. Is it pressure?
Is that a fair expectation though?
It's got you can always say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. It is up to them. You give them the tools. You say, here's the deal. Here's the playbook that we have that we think's good, but this is something you've got to want to do. You've got to get these grades. You got to try to really. School's a job. You've got to look at school as a job, because the better you do in school, the better choices that you have. And we're getting all those pamphlets from different universities right now. Kyle being 16-year-old, he gets all the. We get Missouri. We're getting all these different schools sending us stuff, but it's up to you and the level of which you achieve now to get you there. It's on them. I mean, we can give them tutoring. You can give them extra help. You can push them a little bit, but it comes down to them and their ability to get there. So
yeah, but some of it's on the parents though too.
Sure.
Regardless of whether it's sports, academics,
we can be too lackadaisical. You've got to be interested in what your son or daughter is doing.
And you got to be willing to kick them in the ass when they're not, because it makes no sense to me.
Because it's changed from our days, George. Growing up, it's a little different than it is now.
Yeah, but it makes no sense to me if you're going to sit up there and fork out all this money for a kid to do something, and then they're screwing up and you're going to keep forking out money, you're a fool.
No,
if you keep doing that.
You are a fool, no question.
And I love my kids. However, there are times where you have to have some of them hard conversations with them and tell them, you know what, kid, you're just screwing up and all this. And that's why, going back to how this whole discussion started with Matt Ryan is absolutely, this contract, this $100 million contract guaranteed, is going to blow up in the Falcons' face, because just being a very solid over the next 6 years, if they go to the playoffs 4 out of the next 6 years, get to the conference finals once or twice, don't win the Super Bowl, fans are going to be looking at Matt Ryan like, didn't we give you $100 million?
Yeah, that not only that, but the pressure that's now on him. Okay, now you've signed this deal. Now comes the fact you've got to try to live up to that deal. We've seen certain athletes, Jordan, we can name a few, where they sign this gigantic contract, and it not even take them a year to get to that certain point to even hopefully earn it, or some don't. Sometimes it can just completely destroy somebody's confidence because you're sitting there trying to live up to a number.
See, I don't.
To try, and you've shown the ability to get that number.
Yeah.
Okay. But now it's not just about those numbers. It's about doing as we just said, which is winning. You've got to win everything. You've got to be the top quarterback in the league, leading your team to a Super Bowl championship. He was 2 one year. He was 2. He was right behind that guy, Tom Brady, the NFL, with his MVP season. Right behind Tom Brady, right there, 27-3.
That was an
George.
outlier, bro.
27-3, though. You had that game. That game was done.
No, it wasn't. See,
oh, stop!
See,
I was
that's
sitting there with my wife that day.
That is the thing. That is the difference between. Okay, go on.
Okay, she is a diehard. My lovely wife Meg is a diehard New England Patriots fan. Okay.
Oh, she must have rubbed it in your face.
Oh, not during halftime of that game. She was taking off the 12 jersey. And I sat there and I told her, I said, you know, if there's any team, if there's any quarterback that you still have a chance, of course, did I myself believe it? No, I was like, this game is toast, okay? I said to her, you got to stay true. The Patriots could do this. The Patriots, no. She looked about as down as most Patriots did at that point, okay? And then what happened was
one touchdown beget 2 touchdowns.
The sack, the 2-point conversions, the overtime.
And then all of a sudden you saw her confidence growing like the Hulk.
I had to live with it. I'm like, can I just take a photo shot of the halftime picture of you?
It grew like the Hulk.
Taking the jersey off, okay? Taking that jersey off. You know, that's it. The season's over. You had thrown up the white flag.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to hear this later. You know I'm going to hear it later because she's listening. Okay?
And I know what she had to have done.
Oh.
She had to be like most Patriots fans, because they're hella annoying when they come back and do something great, because they're all like,
oh, you're going to hear it.
Us
New Englanders, you're going to hear it, okay?
I never gave up. No, I knew we had Tom Terrific. Yeah, right.
Greatest quarterback ever.
They didn't believe it either. However, that's the difference between the elite quarterbacks.
Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Drew Brees. Drew Brees is as
and Roethlisberger is that they can bring you back from the brink of destruction, and Matt Ryan has not shown the ability to bring you back from the brink of destruction.
Well, it's something he's got to prove. It's something now that even in his going on his 11th year in the National Football, he's now going to have to take that level and take this team a step further. As champions, he's got to do that. That's the onus now on him. The pressure's all in Matt Ryan's hands, and we want to hear from you. 323-230-4445. Or you can tweet us, too, at Unafraid Show. Just tweet us. If you don't want to call, tweet us. Give us responses. How much pressure right now is on Matt Ryan? Is he worth it? I mean, look, we can all sit there and say, George, is he worth 130? No. Okay, I don't know. Professional athletes, they get what they get. Congratulations. But, I mean, there's doctors, there's a lot of people that deserve a lot of money, okay? The athletes are grossly overpaid.
Whoa. Hold on. That is
overpaid.
That is a lie. Right? That is a lie from the pit of hell.
Please.
Let me explain this to you. That way everybody, because I know that nobody feels sorry for the millionaire athlete, all of this. I get it, because when you're making $30,000, $40,000 a year.
The grind.
Yeah. It is hard for you to feel sorry for somebody who feels like they're underpaid at $5 million. I get it. But here is the thing that you are is that yes, teachers should be our heroes, police officers, firefighters, all these guys should be our heroes. I get it. And yes, they quote unquote should make the most money. Here is what's true in life, is that the people who generate the most income make the most income. And I know that in some sort of utopian socialistic society, teachers should be the most, and educators should be the highest paid people. However, actors, people who own businesses, people who play sports, they generate a ton of revenue. Correct or incorrect?
Oh, absolutely.
So
way too much.
You are compensated for your ability to bring in revenue. So that's where, unless you're a college player who's getting robbed, that's where it comes down to, is that you are generating revenue. So I can't live in a space where people say, oh, this athlete's overpaid, or athletes make too much money, musicians make too much money. No, they're paid to entertain you, take your mind away from whatever the hell is going on in your everyday life, give you something to root for, be excited about. So no, they're not overpaid. They're generating a ton of revenue, and that's who makes the most money.
Listen, I applaud them. You get someone to sign you up $30 million a year, $150 million, that's more power to you. You've actually done something, proven something that has made that organization fall in love with you. The Atlanta Falcons are now putting all their chips in the basket, pushing it to Matt Ryan and say, this is what we're going to give you. Now you have to finish this and get us a championship in Atlanta.
What do you think he's going to give them? Because I think he's going to give them the same thing that he's given them already.
I think the Atlanta Falcons very easily could win 11 or 12 games next year. I think they could make the playoffs and make a run to the playoffs. They could be an NFC championship team. Do I see them as a Super Bowl team? Who knows? The NFL, it's always changing. The Packers are going to be back because Aaron Rodgers is there. Okay. The Minnesota Vikings, could they take that next step? They've certainly put a lot of chips in the basket for one Kirk Cousins, and that roster, you could argue, is a Super Bowl caliber team. And I think the team that had the best offseason, okay, is the Los Angeles Rams. I almost said St. Louis. That almost slipped. The LA Rams, okay, with the offseason that they had, who they brought in, I mean, that team is just trending in the right direction. They could be the favorites in the NFC to represent in the Super Bowl. Like, it's all possible, but the pressure and the grind of an NFL, anything could happen. If he goes backwards at all this year, this would be a huge disappointment for the Atlanta Falcons fans and the organization.
Eric, I got a question for you.
Answer.
I always got a lot of questions for you, but here's one thing I'm curious about, because we hear we hear football's too dangerous.
Yes.
We hear soccer, you can get concussions. Hockey's too rough.
Hockey's definitely dangerous.
The rugby, wrestling, everything's too dangerous for everybody. But now America's pastime is being threatened, and it's not people from the outside saying that baseball is too dangerous.
Players.
It's star players saying that baseball is too dangerous.
What?
Is it? 323-230-4445. Unafraid Show. George Rice, expert on all things, and the man who lives on the recliner.
Damn right. And I know I have all the opinions to back it up.
Eric Peterson, Unafraid Show.
I would just roll 30 minutes.
No.
We're unstoppable.
Really? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I said
Extremely
that.
unstoppable.
Okay,
no,
so
sorry guys. No more bits that she needs to play besides the outro, right?
no.
Yep.
Okay, so
So the outro is gonna be Kanye West.
Yeah.
No. The outro will always be Skrillex. The intro will be, I guess, we're going to use I Can't Stop again, or we have something else you want to play? We need to get some more songs.
Wait,
this
is
year.
there gonna be another break?
Yes, there'll be at least one more.
So what do you want to play for the break? There's a
We'll play Skrillex again. We'll play this is our outro.
And then
Intro, we've been playing I Can't Stop.
Yeah.
But we probably should get some more songs.
Yeah, I'll get some more in. But thank you guys. We're on a break right now. Sitting here hitting it. We have covered everything from Jason Tatum is greater than Donovan Mitchell. baseball is baseball too dangerous. That's what we're gonna get to right now.
This song is
And
Okay. So the
um,
next break round
Matt
is
Ryan,
the
we just covered him. Is he overpaid?
Okay.
And the Redskins cheerleaders. Ooh, might get to that today. Unafraid show. George Reister, Eric Peterson, expert on all things, and the recliner master himself.
Nobody sees more, my friend. Nobody sees more with the remote control in his hand.
Eric, before we get into is baseball too dangerous and Reister are wrong, I got to tell a story today. So I didn't even tell you what happened today.
What happened today, George Reister?
So if you follow me on Instagram and you get a message or you get something, do not pay attention to it because it's not me. Somebody hacked me. And guess how I found this out? I logged on my Instagram this morning. It was probably about 10 o'clock when I first opened up the app.
Because this has happened to a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I haven't been at Facebook. I got hacked for some ad thing.
Yeah.
All right. I think every one of us out there's probably had that happen at least once.
Yeah.
Change your password. But explain, because this is kind of scary when someone gets into your personal account Instagram.
I log into my Instagram, and it says the user of this account has logged in from a different device. And I was like, what? So I go ask my wife. I'm like, yo, did you log into my Instagram on your phone or something? She was like, no. What are you talking about? I don't even have your Instagram password. I was like, I didn't think you did, but okay, whatever. And then I'm like, how the hell did this happen? So I go try to reset the password, log in. And it's like your account doesn't, it was like there are no users with this name.
What?
I was like, what? So I'm thinking somebody deleted my Instagram account. Come find out. So if you guys know, if you follow me on Instagram at George Reister, hopefully it's back up tomorrow. Somebody logged in, changed the password, and then had the nerve to change my damn Instagram name.
Oh,
they changed it to like Willin _5580 _ something else. And I was sitting there like, how dare you?
Oh, yeah.
Like, how dare? And
It's
the
like
only
being
reason.
robbed. Let's be honest. It's like being robbed or broken. It's like it's a violation. This is your private space here.
Yes.
And somebody's decided to change it.
Yes, this is my private public space.
All right, this is your space.
And I was hella upset about that.
You were what transpired? What can you say on the air that first thought that you had when this happened? Like, what came to your mind? Like you wanted to kill somebody?
No.
I
was thinking about who did this, and who's trying to ruin my life. And then also, then the next thing that happened after that. So I told my wife about it because I asked her, "Yo, did you log into my account?" And then you know how you can randomly take a picture on your phone?
Yes.
And I'm going through my pictures because I had to send a request into Instagram saying that I got hacked and all this. And as I'm swiping through the pictures that I took a picture of, it looked like there was a breast on my phone.
Uh-oh.
And I'm sitting there like,
mysterious breast.
who the hell is hacking? I'm like, somebody's trying to ruin my life, trying to ruin my marriage right now, hacking into my Instagram, putting a breast on my phone in my pictures. I was like, dude, I had a traumatic day today, man.
Oh
Just getting here to the radio station.
Wow. That is something that gets you that will get you nerved up, no question about it. There's something about that violation of your private space. Somebody getting in there. First of all, obviously your password. You're like, how do they break? I'm going to ask you, how complicated was your password? Because this is something that's out there that you can do. You can change it. You can put all kinds of different names, caps, all this. Because people keep saying that my password's not strong enough.
Oh,
I'm like, what do you mean by that? I got
What do you mean password 1 2 3 4 is not strong enough?
1 2 3 4 5 6. I mean, what's wrong? Who's gonna get that ever? I mean, really, seriously.
I even put a capital P and an exclamation mark at the end. How can anybody get that?
Someone's got time on their hands. They want to be George Reister, my friend.
And listen, I am not easy password guy. Like that's the thing about it. Like I'm like,
it tells you when you do that, like on iTunes or whatever.
My strength is always at max.
Yeah.
I mean, like I have a pretty good memory. Thank God I don't have CTE or something.
Oh
my God!
I gotta write it down on my
characters, all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't easy. And I'm still waiting on a damn email from Instagram to tell me that they done fixed it because they haven't done a damn thing so far. And I'm hot. I've tweeted at them, everything. But there's some other people around the sports world who are hot.
Let's segue out of that. I'm still concerned over the breast picture going on there.
Whose personal space has been violated or feels like it might be violated. Major League Baseball pitchers.
Yeah, they've got a concern. And David Price, Red Sox left-hander, and Matt Scherzer, who a lot of people think is one of the best pitchers, if not the best pitcher in baseball.
Stop Kershaw.
Washington Nationals. Okay, you've got Kershaw. I look at playoffs, and I tend to disagree with that. They have gone on record to say, when is baseball going to protect us? When is baseball going to finally look into the situation that we're in? And there's some statistics that kind of back this up, George, because let's face it. I mean, we've seen pitching in baseball evolve, have we not? I mean, most of these kids that come up, I mean, when I started watching baseballs way back in the old days, in the 70s and 80s, okay, there was a few pitchers, like Nolan Ryan was one of those guys, okay, that could hit triple. J.R. Richards of the Houston Astros. There was never a case where every team could roll out, 4, 5, 6, 7 pitchers that threw 95 and plus.
Oh my God, there are
There's
probably
like 2 or 3, maybe top one, maybe.
What? There's probably 30 plus pitchers in the major leagues who can regularly top over 95.
Yeah, right now.
Yes.
It's changed. Before, you might have 5, 6 people maybe. Now, 30, 35. All these young kids.
Oh, there's at least one on every single team.
Yeah, and there's now guys that can throw 100, like Chapman, Craig Kimbrell. You're starting to see guys. Verlander can still throw 100.
Yep.
It's not even a big deal anymore. What's amazing though is that these hitters are able to hit this the way that they have. I mean, the major league hitters are owning fastballs at a record rate. And what is happening is they're not only hitting it, they're hitting it much harder than ever before. They can average to 110 miles off the bat. And Aaron Judge, who's the huge New York Yankees.
6'8", 275.
Oh, that guy's like Shrek. The guy's huge. He's a monster. Okay, terrific player. And his own teammate, Giancarlo Stanton, have set the record, George, for highest velocity off bat. That's the new thing. Like that, you see it on ESPN. You watch their Sunday Night Baseball. You see Fox when they do. It's this velocity off bat, and this is what are getting pitchers concerned. Aaron Judge is hitting 119 miles per hour off his bat. Giancarlo Stanton, 117, 118 off his bat.
For you guys who don't understand what exit velocity means, it means so if a pitch comes in at 95, 96 miles an hour, there is a Newton's third law.
New statistic in baseball that
there is equal and opposite reaction, except for the when it comes off the bat, it's coming off even faster than what the pitcher threw it out as. So that creates less reaction time for the pitchers, which makes a very dangerous situation of getting hit with the baseball. They don't mind getting hit in the body. It's to get hit in the face and the head that create a serious danger. And their concern is, they're like, okay, how are you going to protect us? And the question is this. I mean, short of putting a pitcher in a helmet, what else can you do?
Really,
I mean, because you can't put a screen and an L screen out there and let them pitch behind an L screen.
And look, as parents, you with your son, baseball, mine with my son when he played, and I actually coached a couple of years, as scary as that might be. We were teaching kids, though, the old basic, right? The old rule. You throw and you get yourself in fielding position.
Yeah.
That's one thing when you're talking, the Babe Ruth League. It's one thing when you're talking kids that are throwing, maybe 50, 60, maybe 70 miles per hour when they're younger.
Yep.
It's another thing when you're seeing these guys at what velocity that they're pitching in college. Even in college, it's scary. I'm surprised it hasn't happened with metal bats. Okay, I don't know what the velocity of bats are coming off with that, but I'm guessing it's probably a little bit higher. So we haven't seen this yet. But as Matt Scherzer basically said, what's it going to take? Is it going to take somebody to die on the mound when this happens? We've seen.
And the answer to your question is yes, because here's the thing: is that most pitchers, unless they're required to wear it, won't wear it. It's just like
it looks funny. I've got to admit, I've seen some of the hats. It looks
yeah,
larger.
It's just like baseball. How football players didn't want to change their helmets at first because they thought these helmets were bigger and made them look like kazoo. So guys wouldn't wear some of the new technology because it looked funny to them. And baseball players, pitchers want to be tough. They want a mentality. So could you imagine Max Scherzer going out there to go pitch in a goalie hockey mask?
You know, I thought about that because that is really.
I mean,
that's
what,
really the only
what else
way.
can
What
you
else
possibly do?
That's really all you can do. What, where you can get a net? You can't do that. I mean, there's just no way. There's no way to police that. But it could get to that moment. We've seen these gruesome things happen to these pitchers. I don't remember Bryce Flory was a reliever, and the blood that gushed out of him, he got hit, was out, went to the hospital, the whole deal. It's scary that we have yet to see it. But that is really the only thing you can do is pitchers are going to have to get some kind of hockey mask, probably without the, where hockey goalies have the wiring. They're probably going to have to just where their eyes can see forward and get used to it. You've played in a mask, George. You know that's not comfortable either because
you'll get used to
it, right? You'll get used to it. And it'd be kind of cool because you could put your own personality things. Like you see these hockey goalies.
Okay, it's just like
silly.
The batters have wisened up already. The batters, instead of just going up there, because especially guys like Giancarlo Stanton, who got hit in the face and broke his entire face, is you have guys they wear that what's it called?
It's called a C-flap.
They wear the C-flap. So it's the thing that when you see the hitters, and Mike Trout wears it now, Harper wears it, and they go up particularly against guys who are the same handed as they hit. So right-handed batter, right-handed pitcher, because Giancarlo doesn't wear it versus left-handed pitchers, right, because they can see the ball better. And the reason why they do it, because hitters have gotten smart. They're like, we can't get out of the way of these balls, and we have to be willing to stand in there because a lot of these pitches have such torque on them, and they're able to curve so much, dive down, sink, all of this, that you can't just run out of the box because a pitch is pitched at you. So that's how players get hit. So you have to be willing to stay in there. And batters have evolved in terms of being willing to put on a C-flap. And with my son, I'm actually, after I was reading the story, I was like, damn, maybe I should put him in the C-flap because he actually got hit in the face. I'm like, I might put this kid in the C-flap. He's not going to be happy about it, but his ass getting the C-flap, though.
And you know what? I don't blame him. When these guys are pitching 95, 100 miles per hour, okay?
He's
even
only
92.
12, and some of the kids throwing 70.
Yes.
From
They're
45
throwing 70,
feet.
75, 80.
Yep.
These kids are getting stronger. The game is getting faster, bigger and faster in every regard. Back in my stellar coaching days in the old, Babe Ruth baseball leagues in Southern California, I had a parent come up to me. And basically tell me, and this was the kid that had the strongest arm on the team, George, okay? Was going to be our best pitcher. I was excited, very excited. It was a mother, and she simply came to me and said,
Can't listen to moms, man.
Yeah, well, no, she basically said, my son's not going to pitch, and I'm not going to let him pitch.
Well,
because
you need to find a new team.
Yeah, you don't have that. Listen, everyone's got to play. And he was a good hitter. I didn't, listen, I'll put him in a position. I'm like, but excuse me. I mean, he could be our best pitcher. He's so talented.
Yeah.
Throws the ball beautifully. Knows how, he throws all the quadrants. Love it. No.
Moms are afraid, man.
Moms are afraid. They're already afraid at this age, and that is something to be concerned about. Now, you finally see some Major League Baseball players say, listen, we've got to be able to protect ourselves better. But what is baseball? You're right. What can Major League Baseball do?
Don't cry about it unless you're willing to wear a helmet.
Right.
And most are not willing to.
It doesn't look cool. It's not cool enough. There's a toughness factor.
You have to be, if you're not willing to wear a helmet, you have to stop crying about it. I mean, because nobody's going to put an L screen out there in front of you.
No.
And here's the amazing part about it is that you have pitchers, particularly guys who play in the AL, the majority of them don't hit.
No.
Like the 99.
They get the interleague occasionally, but that's very few.
But and then they're only pitching like 5 innings, 6 innings max. That way that they can adjust the lineup and all that. So you have all these pitchers who don't pitch, but they're supposed to be quote unquote tough guys. They love to pitch inside on guys.
Yeah,
they
no
own the play.
Once in a while, come on.
Oh, of course, because they don't have to go up there and bat.
Right, I can't tickle when a 90 mile per hour fastball
Yeah.
hits you anywhere. I don't care where it is.
But then they want to pitch inside, pitch tough, make sure everybody knows that they're the man. But then when the ball is supposed to be coming back at you hard, no, protect me, ow, ow. Like, come on, man, grow up.
Yeah, well, it does. It's kind of sad when you think, hey, baseball players, talking about this whole situation in the sense of, okay, it hasn't happened, but could it happen? Here's the thing.
Yes, it could happen.
But if you're going to sit there, Max Scherzer and David Price, and speak out about it, which is great. I'm glad you're bringing this up.
Yep, all for it.
And we as parents, and you're a parent out there, and obviously I told you a story about a mom that came up to me about not wanting her son to pitch. So this kind of is an interesting topic.
Wear a helmet.
Wear a helmet.
Yep. And
that resolves it. I mean, that's pretty much.
There's nothing else that you can do.
No.
I mean, put them.
Well, you're gonna back the mound up a little further? No, that's not gonna change.
And the pitchers won't want the mound backed up because now it gives the hitters more time.
Exactly.
So absolutely not. Absolutely not.
That is crazy. It's a dilemma that continues. It's something that is out there until something drastic, and still maybe something catastrophic happens. I don't see this changing. It's great that Max and David say it, but look, until pitchers do exactly what you said and decide, hey, I'm going to put this hockey mask on me, then we're not going to see a change.
And now, Eric,
yes,
it is almost time for the greatest time here on the Unafraid show.
Oh yeah, is it that time?
Yes, it is time for. Yes, it is time for Reister or Wrong. Time for you to bring out the hat. And today he brought in an old school. Yeah, he brought in an old school.
Where can you show this to our audience here?
He brought out the old school Beast 980 hat.
Look at that.
Oh,
that is historic. And for anyone that don't know who the Beast 980
this is an artifact because it no longer exists. It's like a dinosaur.
I think I can get a free cup of coffee somewhere with this hat when we're wearing this because it's where you and I first met.
Yep.
Where you and I first kind of did radio together. And it was a hell of a place to work. There were some great people at the Beast 980. So the names are in the Beast 980 hat. I pick a name. Any name, we don't know who. George does not have any clue. I did tell him one. I gave him a hint on one, okay? He doesn't know what's going to be confronted. He's got to give a one-word answer and then explain himself. And then I, as judge and jury, get to sit here and say, well, you're either Reister or you're wrong. So basically, I get an opportunity, and I will respond to. I will come up, in fairness to George, I will give a one-word answer myself. So I will put myself on the block. I will have a little more time to come up with the one-word response. But it's up to you, George. So when we get back, George Reister, Eric Peterson, this is Reister or Wrong, names out of a hat. Could be anybody. Entertainment. It could be politics we're throwing in there. Sports. Names that have made an impact this past week. This is the Unafraid show on Dash Talk.
Almost time for Reister or Wrong.
Hey, we can get a gavel knot for Reister or Wrong.
Yes, like a judge.
Yeah.
I think the song too. That's kind of like
Yeah.
something right or wrong. Something that involves school in it.
Yeah.
Is the outro for sure gonna be this song again or Kanye? No Kanye.
No Kanye.
Well, his name could be his name. Oh, I'm spilling the beans. The name could be in the hat. So if that comes out,
Yeah, we'll go Kanye on the way out.
you want to go Kanye on the way out? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And then, are we segueing into Curious George? So what time is it?
Yeah.
Or do you want to do the cheerleader story?
We'll do Curious George story.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right. So we're gonna roll
think
this. We got time.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Because she didn't get back to me, and that story is kind of evergreen.
It is. It's something we could
Sorta.
do, and it's only growing. There's
Yeah.
did you read that there's a lawsuit going
Yeah,
on?
I know. Like I went on a trip overseas with like 5 of them. With 5 Redskins cheerleaders.
Oh, so do you actually? I mean, that's kind of an experience.
Yeah. So next week, I'll try to get one or two.
Okay, so let's say that. And then, as far as the Curious George, do you want to add the Hawaii story? I think that's great.
Oh yeah.
It's recruiting. What?
Yeah.
All right, I'll throw that.
Actually,
I'll make the. You want to do that over the Unabomber, the pooping Unabomber, or the?
No.
That's the story.
Yeah.
That, and then I'll try to save time. We'll be quick on that, and then we'll get right. Maybe try to get the Hawaii, or just maybe save that.
No, let's go to pooping story and then Rice or Wrong. Okay. Unafraid show.
Yeah.
Eric Peterson, George Rice, our expert on all things, and Eric Peterson, who is the recliner Monday morning quarterback guy.
MVP,
he knows.
MVP of the recliner.
Okay.
I find everything and see everything, and I have now.
You can't sneak anything past you in that remote, buddy.
That's when the wife allows me to have it. She knows she's out there. I got to fight for it. You know, it's a constant battle.
Interesting story. So our Curious George story of the day
There's
comes,
a couple good ones.
and it comes from New Jersey.
Yes, Dateline, New Jersey.
There is somebody in Dateline, New Jersey, who has been taking a dump at the football field and the track complex of Homedale High School.
Someone has a problem with Homedale High School. You know, somebody, either that or maybe there's a situation going on with their plumbing system at home.
A serial pooper.
A serial pooper is what we're going. And what's hilarious is that the police that were monitoring this at Homedale High School, he was evasive. They could not catch him a few times.
You can't catch a
You
dude
can't catch him,
taking a crap
right?
at
So
school.
who is this? What is this guy? I mean, obviously, he has a bone to pick with Homedale High School. Well, when you find out who this guy is, George, first of all, you ask yourself, why? You ask yourself why anyways, no matter who this is, okay? But you can see it maybe being in a prank once, some kind of thing going on. Maybe it's a rival school, some kid, you know, not liking the school. But this is a adult who has a job. His name is Thomas Tremaglini. He makes $150,000 a year. Get this, he is a superintendent from a different high school district. He was given an award for outstanding in 2013. Okay, and this guy, everyone's trying to figure out why would this guy do this, George? There's got to be some factor to this.
No,
Right? But what are you doing? It's not just a one-time occurrence. He's doing this on a regular basis.
Do you know why you do this?
Why?
Because you are an asshole. Like, that's the only reason why you do this. You are a crazy person. You don't poop and you don't take a dump at just randomly at schools. He lives 3 miles away from the school. I know when I got to go to the bathroom, I'm not trying to drive 3 miles. I only want to walk 3 feet to the toilet. I mean, like, come on, dude.
He's
like,
got
this is
hatred in him. He's got some dislike.
No, this is not dislike, dude.
It's a mental issue.
Yes. There's only one reason. I mean, it's not even natural to take a dump outside in
This guy's a father,
2018.
George. He's a father. Outstanding job. Respected. He's got a job.
Jeffrey
at
Dahmer
Rutgers.
was a brother. Jeffrey Dahmer was a son. I mean, father don't got nothing to do with it.
Okay, well, here's one factor. They released this. This is from NewYork.com. That he might have been upset that barely a school in his district, in which he's a superintendent at, lost to Homedale last football season. So there might have been some hatred. Maybe there was a bet going on we don't know about.
This is not Alabama,
father, okay?
Auburn,
This
where
is
somebody kills a tree. Like killing a tree is more honorable than taking a dump at somebody's.
I don't know about that.
Are you kidding me?
A tree, the famous tree? No,
Dude,
that tree is
killing-
legendary.
Killing the tree at Auburn.
It was clean up, and the ground's not going to be dead.
Do you what? Do you realize how unsanitary and disgusting it is?
But it's amazing they even thought it was a human. You could have thought it was a dog. They had to sit there and find a way to catch this guy. They realized it wasn't dog.
No, man. So
you are feeling this is the most disrespect. Killing a tree.
It's not even.
Anybody in Auburn about that.
They should. His punishment for this should not be jail.
No, he's going to get a fine.
No.
What's going to happen? He's going to get it. But is he going to lose his job?
You know where they should ship him to? They should ship him to Flint, Michigan, and make him drink water. Or they should ship him
to almost a death sentence.
To Oakland County Coliseum, where the Raiders or the A's play, where they have a sewage problem and it backs up, and make him go clean it up. Because he clearly doesn't understand. Because somebody's got to clean that mess up.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. That's the hardest job of this whole deal, is the person that had to clean this guy's poop up on the field, in the track field there.
Listen, it's not even fun cleaning up your own kid's poop you love,
your dog that you love to death. You have to go out there with the bag when your son is sent to the
But another grown man who just can't control himself, hell no.
Man, pooper in New Jersey.
I do not believe in jail time for everybody. I believe that the punishment needs to fit the crime and be a deterrent. And if you make this dude clean up poop all over the place, make him clean up feces everywhere,
community service.
Guess what? He will think twice. He will think twice before he poops somewhere else. He may do something else, but that will deter the behavior. Like every punishment does not deserve jail.
He might
it deserves whatever will.
He's got a leave of absence from work. Your $150,000 job, but you're
And
gone.
the biggest question to you is this:
Yeah.
if you like, it's just like Matt Lauer, who used to work at NBC, and he got in trouble for some inappropriate things at work. Well, we're not even going to talk about that. Here is the point: Matt Lauer lost a $26 million a year job.
Yeah.
$150,000 in date not in anywhere in the United States for most families is a good living for
Solid.
one
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
And if his wife worked or whatever, that's you can live okay. How do you go home and say if you're Matt Lauer or if you're this dude Thomas, hey, honey, I lost my job today. How'd you lose your job? Man, I was locking women I work with in my office. Oh, Thomas, how'd you get fired? See, because what had happened, like I had to go to the bathroom, and then
It just was a great spot. I felt comfortable there.
Yeah.
Barely beat our school, so I kind of felt that I owed it to them to kind of give them.
Do you know how well that's not going to go over at home?
It's a bad situation all around. Plus, there's a picture of him and his son at a Yankee game, I guess. And how do you tell your son? This is probably the most.
Your kid?
Daddy got fired because I was pooping at a rival high school.
Your kid is all time on the make fun of list now.
Lord.
That's like
torture
naming your kid. I don't even know, dude. That's like naming your son Dick or something. And like
Richard.
like
It's Richard, really.
no. I mean like actually naming him like Dickenberg.
Well, I mean Dick Enberg could get away with it, but yeah, you're gonna have to deal with that in junior high school, in elementary school. You're gonna get picked up. There's no question.
Yeah,
Now,
it's just certain things that you're gonna. I mean, it's like if your last name is like Buttface or something.
do you change it, or do you try to be brave enough? Say, you know what? I'm the best butt face on the planet. I'm gonna own it. I'm gonna sit there and own it and be the best.
My name is a yellow Buttface.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, come on. No, it just doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
Like it's fine if your name is like Blue Ivy Carter. Okay, that's unique. That's a different. Or if
But we do as parents. You've seen some of these names. Okay, we're not gonna get in.
Listen,
We're gonna
you have to
protect
name your
them.
kid something that won't get them picked on at school.
That's the big key. That's the big key. All right, so let's get to this. It's time now for our weekly jaunt into Right or Wrong, where we pick a name from a hat. And basically, George, you're on the spot first. All right, so you've got to come up with a one-word response, and then you're going to sell me on this person or tell me about this person, and then I got to come back and give you a one-word response, and then say whether you're right or wrong. So, like as a judge, I get to be a judge here.
Okay,
so
you get to be
let's do
judge
this.
and jury. All
Let's
right.
do this. Let's just go in here and just pick a name from. It could be anyone. Might have had a big week. It might have been controversial. Could be a president. I'm just saying, it's all in this hat right now. Okay, we talked about him a little bit in the beginning of the show, and we have a question out there: who had a worse sports evening as a fan, Drake or Kevin Hart? So I'm going to give you Drake. One word answer, and Drake's behavior this past week you would describe.
Desperate. He's desperate. Drake is desperate as a Toronto Raptors fan right now. He would do anything. I mean, like, he and the city of Toronto have to be to the point of, like, thinking about doing physical harm to LeBron James. I mean, that is the only way to stop this.
Could Drake kind of put up a mafia to prevent LeBron, if there is a Game 5 to come back to? Could he find a way? I mean, what can you do? Because LeBron's so...
he needs to find a way to get LeBron deported from Canada for crimes against the city. Like that's the
Or find a way to fork some money and bring LeBron to Toronto.
LeBron's not going to Toronto. You could give
Drake
LeBron $1 billion, he wouldn't go to Toronto.
Sales pitch is what Drake needs.
Ain't no sales pitch enough to go to Toronto. I'll tell you that. There's not enough.
City. It's a nice city. 3 months of the year.
It is.
3 months.
LeBron lives in Cleveland, and he's not moving to Toronto. Toronto's a nice city. However, it's just cumbersome. It's just cumbersome to get across the border, your passport all the time.
He's not going to play there. Drake can do whatever he wants.
Yep. So am I right or am I wrong?
You're right on that. And I would just say the word to respond is upset. I mean, Drake obviously getting into it with the veteran Kendrick Perkins. Obviously, the Raptors being a 1 seed, George, okay? The top team in the Eastern Conference. You know, the expectation levels were lifted, even though I think you and I saw that this team's kind of fool's gold anyways. Now they're down 2-0 to the Cleveland Cavaliers, going to Cleveland. The chances of this series coming back to Toronto are Bill Belichick, I think Coach Ron Rivera, and now he's reached out to apparently or wants Kaepernick and a guy that's gotten a lot of publicity this week, Kanye West, to come to the White House to talk racial relations. So, George, one word response for Donald, and then go. Big news this week.
Spastic, man. Spastic is the word I got for you. It is. Man, I ain't know nothing about that $130,000. I go ask Michael Cohen. I didn't know nothing about it. Wait, hold up. Yeah, I paid the retainer. Yeah, so what? It didn't come from campaign contributions. Who cares? No, I never had sex with that woman. Well, I mean, I paid her $130,000, but that was just to stop her from lying. No. So but then when it comes as it relates to sports, he's like, you know, the NFL that need to have they are a monopoly. They need to have their nonprofit status revoked. Players are sons of, you know, all of this. But now let's have a summit on race relations, and let's invite my friend Kanye. Dude, Kanye's not a guy, like, to be honest, I don't think that you can have a discussion with him. Kanye talks to you. Kanye doesn't talk with you.
Right. And Kanye is a guy that, let's face it, with what he said this past week, and we've all heard it, it was on TMZ. He was there to do an interview with Harvey Levin, and then Van Lathan, someone that I got to work with at TMZ Sports, responded and basically stuck it right back in Kanye's face and basically said what I think we all believe with him is ignorant.
He said that slavery was a choice. And the thing about slavery being a choice is that I was talking to, a few weeks ago, a professional athlete, a famous man who said the exact same words to me. I will not reveal his name because I would not want him to be. Yeah, I would not want him to.
Friends or people you know.
Yeah, and he said this. He's a young guy though. He's like 20. He just turned 24 recently, and he said slavery was a choice. There's no way they could have enslaved me. My mentality ain't like that. Like I would have left this and that. And then I thought about it on a deeper level. I had like an epiphanous experience of pure religiosity this week where I was thinking about slavery and I was like, hold up. We always think about slaves as, you know, that they were here, they couldn't read, they couldn't write, all of this. And then I was like, hold up. That's not exactly true, because when they talk about slaves not being able to read, it's not that they couldn't read. It's that they couldn't read English. Like they're from a different country. They spoke a different language. And then in the movies, they all spoke English as well. They didn't speak English either. They had to learn a whole nother language where somewhere else. But I digress. I get off my soapbox now.
Right. And you're Reister saying spastic as far as the president is concerned.
Yeah.
And you're also right. And with Kanye West, let's just put it to you like this. The guy lost 10 million followers. He said something that was ignorant. He said something that obviously has offended the African-American race in more ways than one. We heard Steve Smith. Okay, it was offensive. And this isn't a guy that I'm going to call in right now if I'm Donald Trump to talk racial relations. But obviously they're friends, okay? And he's bringing Colin Kaepernick in, which is even, I think, more interesting. I don't know, I think you can call, what is that, a show? What is he bringing Colin in? He's the one that was speaking out against Colin Kaepernick not standing for the national anthem. So for Donald Trump, a one-word answer. It's so almost impossible to come up with for him. It's just it's chaos. Chaos. Whether that's good or bad, we're not going to get into politics. We'll just leave it where it is. Chaos. And then seemingly the president really enjoys that anyways. All right, another name from the hat. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. This one I'm going to enjoy very much. Mookie Betts.
For people who live in the real world and don't know who Mookie Betts is, he's probably the best player in baseball right now. He plays for the Boston Red Sox, who just so happens to be your favorite team.
Of course. Yes. I wasn't wearing it today, but I will wear that fine shirt for you again with a fine tie-dye with the Red Sox all over it.
Listen, you are too damn old to be wearing a tie-dye shirt. I'm just going to tell you. Yes, you are.
I got Bob Marley on today.
You have on
Redemption song.
Dude, tie-dye shirt. Anyways,
that's some Kanye.
You cannot be wearing a tie-dye shirt as a...
Oh, why not? If
you're too old for that, man.
Stop
like you look like you're going to a Grateful Dead concert.
Hey, the Dead's still alive, baby, minus Jerry Garcia. We're still torn. We're and the crew are still torn in the scene. But Mookie Betts, one word to describe him.
Anonymous. Anonymous, because baseball just started. People care about the first 10, 12 days of baseball, but now the NBA playoffs are going. People sort of know who Mookie Betts is. They can't point him out in the lineup. He's probably playing like the best player in baseball right now. But the best think about this. During the NBA regular season, nobody really cared or knew much about Donovan Mitchell besides him winning the slam dunk contest. Now everybody who watches basketball knows who Donovan Mitchell is, and people who don't even watch basketball regularly know who Donovan.
Stockton just said finally knows who Donovan Mitchell is.
Yeah,
everyone's putting his praise on. John Stockton, jazz legend, says, "Yeah, now I kind of see where this hype is, but it took me a while. It's going to take me a while to find it."
And with Mookie Betts, he's been playing like this for almost all last year, and then this year.
He's been in the league 4 years already.
Yeah,
he's 25
and
years
nobody.
old.
And this is the problem with baseball. It doesn't have stars like that. It does not have stars.
They're not transcendent. Mike Trout.
The ESPN
Bryce
Sunday
Harper.
night baseball ratings are down. Everybody loves baseball.
Here's the big factor, attendance, but there's reasons for that too. It's not just because the sport itself. There's been a lot of weather issues in various places, and people are like, listen, I'm going to pay money. I don't want to go to games in which it's 36, 40 degrees to go see a team play and be miserable.
I'm just saying, bro, like he is still anonymous because he's a baseball player, and there is something about the game that does not either allow superstars or does not cultivate superstars.
So you're thinking PR-wise, they got to do a better job with these guys. Like they've got to get on it.
I think the guys themselves have to make themselves more marketable.
Because I know Mookie Betts as far as him and his personality. I think he's great. You see him play. He's smiling all the time. This is a guy you want on your team. He's setting records at the leadoff position for the
baseball is about dumbing you down, even more than football. They say they want individuals and stars, but they don't do things to cultivate them. Because when people quote unquote step out of line, or like the last superstar that baseball had was Manny Ramirez. Manny, and there was the whole Manny being Manny. Everybody knew who Manny was.
Too. He would give you a highlight in which you were like, did he just do that? But at the same time, he could hit 2 home runs and driving 5 RBIs.
Yep, and if Puig played like Mike Trout, he would be a superstar. He would be baseball's superstar, the most famous man in baseball. But he doesn't play like Mike Trout.
It's head scratching because there's really a lot of great baseball players, and I would say Mookie Betts, my one word thing, is MVP right now. But I realize what you're trying to say. It's just Red Sox fans know who he is, baseball people know who he is. But I think selling Mookie, where's the bigness in Mookie? Where's the bigness in Mike Trout? Where's the bigness in Bryce Harper? It just doesn't transcend. I think other sports do a better job of marketing their players. I think baseball players have to look at the ratings, have to look at the attendance, and say, you know what? I've got to make this a bigger deal. I've got to get out there more. I've got to get closer to the fan. I've got to start doing more interviews on radio shows, on TV shows. We've got to sell.
Yeah, but you can do as many interviews as you want to. If you give vanilla answers, oh yeah, we're just gonna come out here, we're gonna play good baseball, we're gonna try to hit the ball, let the chips fall where they may, we're gonna lock in, we're gonna focus, We're going to just keep plugging away, doing the right thing, chopping wood. If you just keep giving me these same old lines, nobody's going to care.
Yeah, the personality is a big factor, and I think baseball, whether it's the game itself that they're looking at, speeding it up, being more. Baseball's the third most popular sport as far as ratings right now. The NFL is king. The NBA is catching up at 2, and some people.
NBA is not catching up, dude.
And you think the NBA is because the NFL ratings have gone down? We know viewing wise. That's how we kind of judge things.
The NBA. Okay, you always have to remember that things are relative. The NFL ratings are down, but they're still the most popular thing on television.
Because
it's not even close.
It's once a week.
Yeah.
It's 16 times a year. If your team's lucky enough, you get the
playoffs.
The
NBA playoffs are on, and the NFL draft dwarfed it. It was like 4 times the ratings, and nobody was even playing. And it was a game 6 with LeBron playing in it.
And
come on, man.
It couldn't come close. So you were definitely right, Reister, on that. I mean, there's no question that there's a sense with the stars, no matter if they're Mookie Betts and even Mike Trout out there, there's still a sense that there's got to be more. It's like the popularity has to be more right now. They've got to be like LeBron James. They've got to be bigger. They've got to be more prevalent, and it's just not happening. Not as polarizing. All right, Rajon Rondo, New Orleans Pelicans. Rajon Rondo, one word, and describe. Actually, he's played very well. His run here in the playoffs. He seems to be Mr. Playoffs.
Yeah, he's a fabulous playoff player. But the one word for Rajon Rondo has to be.
It's tough, isn't it? He's another guy. It's like Kanye West of the basketball world. You don't know sometimes what Rajon Rondo is going to say or do, but it's. He's a winner.
He's a pickle.
Pickle.
A pickle, like a pickle in baseball. Like he gets you in these little mind traps sometimes because he's a good player. He's crafty. He'll fight you sometimes, but then sometimes he'll back up and be like, "Whoa, why are you up so upset?" He puts you in a pickle. He's a good defender. He rattles your nerves. He's like a miniature Draymond Green.
That's a good way of describing it.
These guys, they put you in a pickle. They put you in difficult situations that test your temperament, that test your game, and test your composure. That's the best thing about Rajon Rondo and why I like him.
Yes.
Constantly.
He's a guy you got to have to win, right?
He's a habitual line stepper, and that's what I love about him.
Another Reister. All right. Last name, and then we're going to call this a show. It's already that time. Real quick on this one. Okay, just got hired. We did briefly talk about him. David Frisdale, your new head coach of the New York Knicks. One-word answer, and then respond to his new job.
Temporary. I believe that David Frisdale is a good coach. However, to be a successful coach, you have to have a good GM, you have to have a good owner to be in a winning situation. And they don't have that in New York. They have a terrible roster. They have, bunch of salaries that they can't get rid of soon. Like not number 1 draft picks. Like it is just, it's not a great situation. And when you don't inherit a good situation, then you have the potential to have a temporary job, kind of like Brett Brown, who coaches the Philadelphia 76ers. He was on his way out. Had they not won 50
the longest leash ever with the worst winning percentage.
Yeah, if they had not won 50 games this year, if they had won like 40, if they went 40 and 44 or 40 and 42, he would have been fired.
And let's face it, in New York you get a shorter leash. I'm going to say tough for David Frisdale because he's got to do a lot of things in a short amount of time to keep his job. Really quickly, something to just recap the things that we discussed today. We went into LeBronto. We talked about some of the young guns in the NBA playoffs.
LeBronto this summer.
Yes, you're going to go visit LeBronto?
Yep.
And also we talked about Matt Ryan getting paid. What is the one thing that you and I both talked about that you think, from what our discussions were, that you would say, yes, money?
Oh, Matt Ryan, this is return,
up to the
ROI, return on investment. This is a huge investment, and just going to the playoffs like Matt Ryan does is not going to he's not an elite quarterback, so this is not going to pay the dividends that Arthur Blank and the Atlanta Falcons fans want, and you're going to have Samuel L. Jackson MF and all over the place because of this.
He's George Reisner. I'm Eric Peterson. Another edition of the Unafraid Show here on Dash Talk Radio. It's been fun, George. Let's do it again next week.
Peace out.